All right, let's welcome in friend of the show, Kevin Love. Kevin, always great to catch up. I would say this, my only disappointment in today's show is that we are not sharing a bottle of Dujac Burgundy.
Oof.
That's the disappointment.
That would be nice.
Yeah, we're all in separate places. We obviously want to talk to you a ton about the Cavs and this year's team and resurgence, which is one of the best stories in the NBA. There's a ton of great stories in the NBA, whether it's the Bulls, Klay coming back. The Lakers are a fascinating story. We're gonna get to that probably as well. But the one thing I've noticed in watching the Cavs from the past 3 seasons is that it looks like fun, and it looks like you yourself are having a ton of fun this season.
Oh, I really am. I mean, in a big way, this team has, it's like. I felt the same way, like after watching the Last Dance. Like I want to go to the gym. I get excited about going to the gym. I want to show up there and I want to put in work and I want to build something. And these guys, make me excited to come to work. We all celebrate each other. We've developed a culture. We didn't force it. It just has happened. Our communication is very high level. And that starts with JB. He's just a very effective and high level communicator. For what we want to get done. And then I mentioned like those guys, everybody just celebrating each other from JA to, young Ev to Darius making the next step, and really just everybody coming in and sharing the wealth. We're like the biggest share the wealth team in the NBA. We just want to see everybody shine. And I got to say, outside of 15, 16, I was talking to Channing about this. Like, I don't know that I've had more fun in the NBA than now, and watching these guys grow and getting to be a leader in that sense as well. Because this team wants to be led. They want to do something special. They want the recognition. I should say they want the respect. And I think it's just a beautiful brand of basketball that we're playing. It's fun. It's like really, really fun to be around. Listen, winning solves a lot of things. Like I felt like an angry veteran the last, few years. And obviously that showed, and I had some not so great moments, some good moments, but like, this is what the NBA is meant to be. Like, this is a special moment. People are seeing it from, a chip shot or 10,000 feet looking down on it. But, it's real. Like our unit is incredibly cohesive and, it's a beautiful thing to see within our organization, how these guys are taking the steps and not skipping any.
Tommy, I want to let you jump in 1 second. I just have a quick follow-up on that, because this is something I sort of wanted to bring up, and that's just having gone through being an all-star and being a number one option in Minnesota, then playing in 4 straight finals with LeBron, winning a championship. And I looked up the records: 19-63, 19-46, 22-50. Those are your last 3 seasons. And we touched on this a bit the last time you were on the show, but to be in the position you're in today on this team, 27-18, a game and a half out of first place, the perspective you sort of have now on those 3 years, what you went through, what the organization went through, what you would have done different, maybe. Just can you talk a little bit about that? That sort of that maturation that you're speaking of as a leader.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, and oddly, I haven't really had to answer that, and I've tried to like deflect all the praise or anything that's going good onto these guys, because they've been so great in just how they are respecting the entire process, as I said earlier. But I look back on my life in general, but, basketball career, I'm sure you've done a lot of reflection, being on the other side now, just like things I would have done differently. People are like, oh, I don't regret anything. I wouldn't have changed anything. It's like, okay, bullshit. Like, there are things I would have done differently. I think a lot of times either my emotions got the best of me. I said things without just digesting and, reflecting on what had just happened, and just moments of, maturation and growth. But I'm at the same time, I may regret those things, but I'm thankful that they happened, because I think I'm a better communicator, leader, fiance, like, all that stuff across the board. And I think it's helped me to just to be an extension of the coaching staff with JB, having just with me and him, it being so much bigger than basketball. Like he's basically like an extension of my family. Our families go back to like the 70s when my dad played in the league and he knew Bernie. So I think all of that has more than anything just helped me just not only buy into this team, but be that guy that can help lead the way, make a huge impact off the bench, be super efficient in 20 to 25 minutes a night, and just try and get the best out of these guys. Because I have seen a lot in this league. I've been to the mountaintop. I've also been, like you said, with the Cavs, but also, with the Timberwolves that were rebuilding for so long. I've been on both sides of that. So when you have something special like this, you just try and bottle it up and say, okay, how can we just get everything we can out of this? And you're seeing guys like Jared Allen is an all-star this year. Darius Garland has made the next step. He's an all-star this year. I mean, these guys are playing at a very high level. We got the rookie of the year. We got Isaac Okoro. Obviously Colin Sexton and Ricky went down, but we have, different guys throughout our entire lineup that are stepping up, and it's been amazing. And we have 3 7-footers in there with Lowry Market if he had hit. Like, we're going against the grain, doing stuff different. Our defensive schemes are different than anybody else is doing in the league. And then just our bench has been amazing as well. Like, I'm having a hard time staying in my lane of where I want to answer this, because it's like guys just, it's refreshing to see them chase the game and watching everything else chase them right back. It's really a beautiful thing.
I was going to ask, speaking of unselfish, you mentioned Darius. We've talked about this a bunch, sort of like offline, where he is right now, as a young player in this league and where he's going. What are sort of like your initial thoughts after the last 4 months? Because the jump he's taken has been pretty amazing to watch from the outside looking in.
Yeah, I think his belief system has just gone through the roof. I mean, that was something that I probably should have mentioned about myself. Like, it never faltered, even when I was, hurt, or, we were losing games, or, I was never defined by what other people say I am or thought I was, or that sort of thing. Like, I know who I am. I'm comfortable in my own skin, and, just trying to do right by these guys. And I think seeing Darius mature, and I mean, that's like my little brother, like, and I should say my young brother. I mean, he's like such a smart, heady point guard, but he can play really both positions out there. If you need him to score, if you need him to create a shot for somebody, if you need him to play downhill, if you need an isolation, like, he does so many things to help us win still that don't show up in the stat sheet. And he's gotten better defensively. Like I mentioned, he's very smart. He has our schemes down. He wants to lock in. He wants to take that next step in a very big way. But I think that belief system in him, like, his confidence has continued to grow and understand how big of an impact he can have in this league, especially at that position that is just so hard. Like, I saw him go up against Kyrie last night, and we were talking about this morning, like, he has so much respect for how great of a basketball player Kyrie is. But I'm almost like, Darius, like, you went toe to toe with one of the absolute best point guards of the last, 10, 20 years. And you were amazing. I mean, you helped us win that game in a major way. And he continues to prove it. He continues to make that next step. And I think he also is understanding, even when he doesn't have a great scoring game, or he doesn't shoot great from the field, like in Utah, he was still able to impact the game and win us the game in a number of ways. I mean, he had a triple-double, his first of his career. And, he had crazy assists. He was getting rebounds and doing all the other things that, people are going to look back and say, yeah, he got a triple-double. But it was the little things that helped put us over the top. And he's really accepting that leadership role and using his voice. It's just an accumulation of everything across the board that Darius is doing. And honestly, with this group, sky's the limit.
What's been most impressive to me as a very young point guard still in the NBA, I know he's in his 3rd year, but he's still very young, is the efficiency. Yeah. People will look at his counting numbers, which are very good, a little under 20 points a game, a little over 7 assists a game. But it's the efficiency to me, and the growth he's taken. He's had His rookie year, I looked it up. His assist percentage was 18. He's doubled that. He's kept his turnover percentage the same while doing that. He's averaging a career high, above league average true shooting percentage. His net rating is 9 points better when he's on the floor for you guys. Like, there's just so much that he's doing, as you said, that affects winning. Yeah. And you give young guys sometimes, not all the time, but you give young guys the ball in their hands and say, go play basketball. And that doesn't always happen. No. It's winning basketball. Like, he's putting up numbers on a good team at that age. That's the most impressive thing. It's efficient winning basketball that he's doing in his third year.
And he's consistently making the right play. And what I've seen a lot from him too is the game has started to really slow down with him, and his decision making is very, very high level. So when he's out there, whether it's, getting us settled in the first quarter, the third quarter, or last 2, 4, 6 minutes of a game, like, his decision making is extremely high level, and there really isn't much that he can't do, not only with the ball but out there on the floor. So it's, to me, he's still, I think to everybody, like, he's until you reach 5 years in the league and you're 24, 25, 26 years old and start to be like a veteran, that you grow into your body, your decision making is, you've gone around the league so many different times, and you're like, okay, I get it. I know what I have to do in order to be extremely effective in this league. But he's there, and he's having hopefully having a playoff experience for this young group could and should and will be so amazing. So that's what I think, again, for me, gets me excited to go to the gym and watching, these guys, grow, because I have like a new perspective on how great of a group that we have and where we could go. I think it's just it's a beautiful thing. It's hard to put into words. So
what about Mobley? And I asked this in part, just your observations playing with him, but also your games are different, but you were a rookie big man who came in and had a lot of success very early on. And so are you talking to him at all about your experiences, and also, like, just from a pure basketball standpoint, what do you see? Because it really seems like he can do everything, which is pretty crazy. Which is pretty crazy for someone who's played as little as he has.
Yeah, I mean, you look at him and he passes the eye test. He, again, is another guy that just turned 20 years old, hasn't fully grown into his body. But it's funny in watching him and seeing that he has everything. He's going to be, a top player in this league. I don't want to put a ceiling on him, because I think there is no ceiling. He can be as good as he wants to be. So I don't want to say top 5, top 10 player. But the funny thing is, to me, what I'm getting at is, like, you look and you're like, okay, he could face up, he could put it on the floor. He's going to be capable of shooting threes. How good of a shooter will he be? We'll see. But block shots, defensively, he's so long. He can do everything. He can move his feet. He can guard 1 through 5. But he wants to, when he faces up, he wants to bang. And that's I'm looking. I'm like, he really wants to put a guy in the basket. And that was something that really surprised me about Ev, is he is not afraid of the physicality. He's not afraid to take it to you. And he just, it's really impressive to see the shots that he's able to make this early in his career, and his decision-making, his poise, his calm demeanor. He has that quiet confidence about him. And just watching, he mentioned these 3 guys, but J.A., Ev, and Darius play together has been an amazing thing to watch those guys grow.
I know you don't want to put a ceiling on them, and comparisons, they generally suck.
Yeah.
But who does Evan remind you of?
Who does Evan remind me of? It's tough for me. I mean, obviously, in temperament and how they go about their business is different, but I think in being 7 feet tall, being able to play that mid-range, block shots, play both sides of the ball, energetic, elastic, KG is somebody that I see at that size and body type. But I don't know, man. I'm curious to what other people have said about that, because I think that the game has changed so much. But there's nothing really he's not going to be able to do. I think in 2 or 3 years, you're going to see him at the very, very top of the league in terms of players. But comparisons, yeah, they're hard. Again, like you just said, it's hard to do.
Yeah. And I literally was not trying to put you in a tough spot.
No, I know.
The reason I was asking was because when when the season first started and you watch him play and you look at how he moves and as you said, he's still growing into his body a little bit.
Yeah.
Everybody was comparing him to Chris Bosh, which is fine. I heard a lot of Chris Bosh comparisons.
Yeah.
But the KG thing is interesting because defensively, what Evan is able to do in both protecting the paint and being able – and look, Chris Bosh was a terrific defender. I'm not knocking Chris Bosh's defense. But what Evan is able to do on that side of the ball is very unique and very valuable. I spent one day watching, I think, 18 straight minutes of him switching onto guards and getting stops. Yeah. And this was like 6 weeks ago. I mean, this was early in the season, and he had a lot of stops switching onto guards and staying down and contesting late and blocking at the – I mean, it's just – that to me is the value there. There's just not a lot of bigs at his size that can be a force inside while also switching on the perimeter.
Yeah, and to that point, sometimes when we go zone or, if we're switching 3 through 5 or 2 through 5, he ends up at the top of the key. And you used to see that a lot. At the very least, when KG was on the Timberwolves, you would always see him kind of at the top there, just showing length, contesting guards, sometimes guarding the 3-man, sometimes guarding the 2-man. But I think that's also the luxury that we have having Lowry and JA down there, because if you're funneling them into the paint, you're going to meet those 2 bigs on the other side. So listen, the growth has been fast for him. It's also very hard as a rookie to do it on a winning team. So I think,
that's a great point. That's a great point.
Accounting for all of that, is, it makes for, a pretty special season for him, and a guy that I truly believe, again, sky's the limit. But, in the space that we're in right now and current day, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. If he continues this, he's going to be the rookie of the year.
Yeah. You've brought up the big lineup a few times. I wanted to touch on this because it sort of bucks the trend of anything happening in the NBA, or at least in recent memory happening in the NBA. There's certainly always going to be value in a guy like Jared Allen that can rebound at a high level, play in drop coverage, protect the paint. Then you add in Mobley, you add in Markkanen, and you sort of mentioned what you guys do differently, specifically on that side of the ball, because you've built a top 5 level defense this season. Yeah. What are you guys doing that's different scheme-wise than what other teams are doing?
Yeah, I think I think what makes us different is just that luxury of those 3 bigs and then being able to cover for each other. When you are able to switch 3 7-footers every ball screen that they're in, it's incredibly impressive to watch, and just to see a shot go up and you're like, okay, we have so much size in there, so much length. But to get back to answering your question, I guess what we do most is like the bigs all cover for each other. And, we have certain shot profiles like each team has, but where we're going to get the most, the effective field goal percentage is going to be down. We're getting guys into our shot profile where we want them to take shots from, and understanding that, at the end of the day, our back line of defense is all predicated on, the bigs covering for each other. And the guards obviously have to do their part, and they're going to have to, either switch out, might end up on somebody bigger than themselves, or, they're going to have to be an X-man really at all times playing in that high quadrant. But I don't want to give away all the secrets, but it's basically predicated on, the 4s and 5s. And if Lowry's playing the 3, all protect each other at all times.
Were you surprised initially when this lineup started having success?
That's tough I don't know.
And that's not a knock. That's not a knock on the personnel, I guess. But
because of the personnel,
the sound of it sounds, or the idea of it sounds so foreign
Yeah.
NBA 2022.
It's just so against the grain in what we do now. It's like Rondo and I were talking about it. Well, actually, it came up today too, where it was like a post-up league. So like when you first came in, and even when I first came in a couple years after you, a few years after you, that the scores were still like 95 to 88 a lot of time. And like you're hitting the post and like you're throwing it into Powell. They're setting the Chicago action. Lamar's setting the screen. Bynum's coming over the top, and Powell's playing out of it. And like Kobe's catching it. That's just not the game anymore. So like, it's pace and space. It's small ball, and it's can you shoot 30 to 40, maybe even 53s, a game. And it's either you're in the paint or you're shooting threes. So like, and what do the analytics say? But for us, we went against the grain. I think you mentioned personnel, especially with Lowry out there being able to be a dynamic, not only defender, but he can shoot the ball. He's very skilled, and he just brings, a whole different look to our offensive and defensive lineup. Again, Ev, super skilled, can play out to 17 feet, can knock down a three at this point. And then, JA just is one of the most efficient and consistent guys in the entire league. So in some ways I'm not surprised, because so much of what we do on the offensive end is dictated what we do on defense. And defensively, we have the ability to be great. And I still think there's levels to this of how far we can take our defense.
Analytics work if you have the personnel to make analytics work. So it's great if
Amen.
Hey, let's shoot 45 threes, but if you have a bunch of non-shooters, it's probably not that efficient. And so, obviously you're not going to give away the secrets, but a ton of credit to JB in sort of figuring out how do we make a defensive scheme that plays to our strengths and also plays to our best players. Again, those three guys have started every game that they've played. So they've had that. I think Lowry has the least amount of starts or games played. So you guys have played that starting lineup 36 times this season.
And I would bet you that when those 3 or 4 guys play together, I can imagine, whatever the analytics say, it's got to be very, very high level. But I don't really fall into, we're basketball players. That's not really what we do.
Wait a minute. So hold on. So you don't look at numbers? I mean, you probably look at like how much is Joel Embiid averaging occasionally or something like that. But do you look at your own teams?
Statistics. Yeah. So we have like our goals that we want to accomplish, and there's numbers on there, and how many how many times we hit ahead, contested shots, contested threes, 3-point percentage, points in the paint. Like there's stuff like that I believe really matters. But I feel like, there's some advanced statistics that really matter. Like, guys that are onto the floor together, understanding what the best lineups are, what, how long can we put them on the floor, what their offensive and defensive rating is when they're on the floor together, what kind of success they have, if there's other lineups that work better, when to put them in the game. So I think that helps JB kind of, dictate, how the game flow is going to go. And I think it's going to help us long-term, come playoff time as well.
Kev, what's your feeling on the parity of the East right now? Do you feel like you guys and the Bulls?
East is good, man.
But are you guys still sneaking up on people, or are people like, oh no, we know when we go to Cleveland what we're getting now, and you're still winning?
Well, we just got our first ESPN game today, so I guess
they figured it out.
Hey, Kev, I did NBA today. We talked about you guys for a hot 20 seconds. That's good.
Hey, we're good. It's better than
January.
Just mentioning our name, I guess. No, but I think us flying under the radar is, we want our respect. We want to earn it. And we don't feel like we're there. We still feel like there's, again, more levels to this. And if we're flying under the radar, good. We don't really have anybody that is like, is wanting to take the credit. We're all like, no, it's these guys. Like, I'm just part of this. I'm part of this culture. I'm part of this. It's all about the team. And it's contagious in that way. So it's again, I keep saying it's a beautiful thing. It just feels like a share the wealth kind of team, but at the same time, you're going to need, we do have those guys that, if you need to go get you a bucket or need to go get you a stop, we have that. It's not like one of those things where, they don't have a number one or number two that can, go get you a basket in crunch time and playoff time when it's half court. Like we do have that, and we have the makings of a really good team. We just, obviously things have to go on our side, like, health. We got to have guys, in the rotation, in the lineup, and just continuing to grow together is the biggest thing. You mentioned, parity, continuity, all that stuff. We got to have that with a young team.
Speaking of advanced stats, you guys have the 4th best net rating in the entire NBA, the best in the East. And that generally is the biggest indicator of how good a team is.
Yeah.
Because, there's some luck involved at the end of the games, but if you're constantly beating teams by a big margin, you're a really good basketball team. You're a really good basketball team. I want to get to sort of your evolution as a player. I actually didn't realize this. So there was a game in, I think, 2018, 2019 that you came off the bench. But prior to that, and after that, up until this season, you had started every game pretty much since 2009, 2010. So you'd been a full-time starter for basically 11 seasons in the NBA. When did you kind of get the sense that you were going to come off the bench this year, and that initial, not necessarily initial reaction, but that initial period of time and sort of getting into a rhythm? Because again, like you mentioned, you're having either your most or your second most efficient season. Your numbers back that up. So how long did that sort of period take to get comfortable with this idea and then comfortable on the court?
Yeah, I think the rhythm was definitely the hardest thing. But as far as, accepting that kind of 6-man role, JB was super transparent with me. I mean, it was, we had a number of conversations leading up to me getting to Cleveland. We sat down when I got to Cleveland, just kind of broke down how everything looked in his office. And again, like I trust in JB. Like it's bigger than basketball with us. So like I was to the mindset of, I think this could be, a big moment for this team and for this franchise. And we have young stars, and on paper, we look actually really good. I said to myself, like, sacrifice, this sacrifice could really give back more than it costs, And at this point, in my career, he told me I'm still going to get a good amount of minutes. So I'm like, man, if I can, kind of pivot where my career is at, have zero expectations going into it other than to just go out there and play hard 20, 25 minutes a night and help lead this team. And I think, as you know, and if you've seen in your career, like leadership takes many different forms. And I'm just trying to help this team stay the course, continue to grow, and be an extension of what JB is doing. Continue to ask questions, speak to guys, ask what they need, lead by example. I like to keep it loose at some moments, making sure guys are having fun, enjoying the process, enjoying off the court as well. So for me, it's just been really fun to play and go in and out of, playing with the starting unit, playing with our guys coming off the bench, and just be like a very steady veteran that's, been the highest of highs and also lowest of lows. Cause, I think now in my 14th year, in my 8th season with the Cavs, like I know what it takes to win. So if I can just impart whatever I need to do to help this team, I'm going to do that. And it's been really fun for me to go out there and do that and be efficient and score and shoot threes and play pick and roll with the guys. Defensively, just play really great team defense, rebound the basketball. I mean, just basically be myself when I'm out there. And I think that's what JB wanted me to do. He said, just go be Kevin Love. And that's honestly what I've tried to do. I know that sounds simplified, but for me, that's just been the case, just being myself and being comfortable in my own skin and just being a part of this, something that's bigger than myself.
Kev, what was the first Klay game like for you?
Emotional. My best friend that I grew up with was in town as well from back in Portland, and we grew up with Klay. And just seeing, Mikey, who was my friend first, his older brother, seeing his mom, Julie, seeing Trace for the first time. Big Mike wasn't there because he was with the Lakers, but just seeing them post game, getting the hug from Klay before the game. I mean, it's one of those moments that I'll always remember, because it was like 900 and something odd days of not playing basketball, and like the game is better with him. I know we had a lot of battles, and he's had this unbelievable Hall of Fame career, top 75 career. But
top 70, top 77.
77. He's top 75. Like you said, Dolph Shays isn't going to be. No disrespect.
Don't get him started on this.
Yeah, I know. How many points would Klay Thompson have had in the 50s?
Oh my God.
So
again, I don't want to interrupt. I don't want to interrupt. God, I don't know why you said Dolph Shays. Now I have to go off on a tangent real quick. The NBA official account put up this graphic the other day celebrating, they're celebrating all the top 75
Of course,
players.
Yeah, I've seen it. The one on Kevin McHale the other day, I was watching like 300 post moves in 30 seconds. It was fantastic.
They put up this thing with Dolph Shays, celebrating Dolph Shays, and the tagline or the caption on it was, Dolph Shays, one of the best shooting big men of all time. And again, I'll mention this again. My issue with this is that Dolph Shays, for his career, shot 38% from the field. So I'm not sure how he qualified.
He shot 38% from the field for his career?
For his career. Did you know that Bob Cousy never shot over 40% from the field in his career? Didn't have one season.
Dolph Shays' family is going to murder JJ at some point. He's like the one-man slander.
Anyways, as you were saying about Klay, the top 77 guy.
Yeah. No, and so like, I don't know, there was so many emotions, like not making it about myself, but just seeing him back out there on the floor just made me really happy. And I think, at this stage in his career, to get back with that team, to be in the new arena, to get back with Dre and Steph and Kerr, and just, he's such a big part of that organization. It just, I was up like literally a half court when he made his first bucket, like so happy for him. I told him I was like, that's the only fucking one I'm cheering for though. But then after the game, he came and gave me a big hug. We talked for a minute, got to see his family. It's just like, I'm sure for him it was very emotional, but just to see a friend and somebody that you grew up with and watch grow, not only have success in coming back, but just, lacing him up and doing what he loves again, it was just a great moment that, I didn't certainly take for granted. I obviously know that he didn't, but a lot of people, respect the time that he put in to get back to being Klay.
A little perspective. All right. Again, I hate using the word ceiling, and so I'm not going to use it. And you mentioned the word belief when you were talking about sort of personal belief. But your team is like, again, you're the fourth best point differential. You're the third best defense. You have you have two all-stars on the team this year. I think J.A. should be an all-star. I think Darius Garland should be all-star. I think J.B. Bickerstaff should be in the running for Coach of the Year. Evan Mobley should be in the running for Rookie of the Year. And fuck it, man. You should be in the running for Sixth Man of the Year. So
there we go.
Yeah.
No, but you got this
Old man
great
of the three
team.
campaign. Yes.
And as Tommy mentioned, we're going to start hyping you up about this now.
But
as Tommy mentioned, there's a bunch of good teams in the East. And I've gone, I wouldn't say on record, but I've basically said, look, I think at full strength, it's the Bucks, the Nets, the Miami Heat, and Philly, if they decide to do anything with Ben. If they just get a couple good players back. I think at full strength, those are the four best teams. And that's not taking anything away from what you guys have done. And that's not taking anything away from what the Bulls have done. So what does noise look like in the playoffs for Cavs? Like what is a run that would, I don't want to set you up, but like what is like disappointment? What is, hey, we kind of maxed out in terms of our potential?
Yeah, I think we like to see the wall and break through it. I saw something funny today. I think even the Cavs posted it. Like we were, slated to win like 25 or 26 games. And we're sitting here just past the halfway point, and have more wins than was predicted by everybody. But like, I honestly think success in the playoffs for us is the experience, whether it's getting, to the first round, to the semis, to the conference final. Like, no matter what it is, that experience is going to create even more hunger, and it's to get to, that next level, to feel what the conference finals are like, to feel what the level of playing in the NBA finals is like. Like it's like a drug, right? Like we want to not only get back there, but again, you mentioned the ceiling, like blow the roof off. Like that's what we want. But I think the experience, not to pivot away from your question, is what we need, what we want. And I think that is success in itself. But again, I think there's very good teams in the East. Those teams that you mentioned are very good teams at full strength. So we're going to need to touch wood, knock wood, continue to be healthy, continue to trend in the right direction. But, I think success for us is to end up anywhere within that 1 through 6, and making the playoffs outright. And then from there, it's just, let the chips fall, and, hopefully we have a favorable matchup and how we match up with the other team, and see what happens from there.
I actually don't think you pivoted at all. I think that was a very direct answer, and I think it was a great answer. You're on
the other side now.
No, but so listen,
like you are asking questions that, like, could go one way, could go another.
Wow.
Tommy, get this guy.
We were friends on
asking
the show,
the tough
man.
questions. JJ
now knows. Question.
He knows how to get good responses.
Kevin has been on
JJ.
Really bad teams, and he's been on a championship. He's won a championship. Like, he knows what a good team is. He knows what an okay team is. It's a fair question. It's a fair question that I'm asking a friend, and now he's turning on me because I'm a member of the media, apparently.
Listen. You gotta keep him at somewhat of a distance. You know what I'm saying?
It was a great answer. It was a very good answer.
I think the thing you touched on, and again, I'm not knocking your team. I think we've basically sung your praises for 40 minutes here, but I think the value of the experience is so important. And when you look at the teams I mentioned, either the teams themselves, their core groups, or players on those teams have that experience, and it is invaluable. But you can't learn it, you can't have it, you can't learn from it until you go through it. And I'm super excited to see your team in the playoffs, whatever round it is, or if you make it to the finals. Like, it is so valuable to have that.
Yeah, I mean, so we're not putting any sort of crazy expectation on ourselves. I think it's, again, like, you can't skip the steps in the process, and we're taking it really all in stride. But that's a testament to, like, our character, JB, our organization. We've collectively done a great job of keeping the main thing, and focusing on now. I mean, one of the hardest things to do in life is to stay present. I feel like this group is pretty damn good at that.
All right, before we get to the draft, I do have one last question. And
is it a Dolph Shays question?
No, this is not a Dolph Shays question. But you watch the NBA, and we players, teams, the media, we all talk about the Lakers because they have the greatest player of our generation and one of the all-time greats. I'm not going to compare eras or players in that regard, but I think LeBron is the greatest player of our generation.
Shot over 40% in his career.
He has shot over 40%. Highly efficient, that LeBron James. And I'm just curious from your perspective. You're friends with Russ, friends with LeBron, we're his teammate. And because it's the Lakers and because it's LeBron, like the amount of scrutiny that those guys have to deal with, is it fair? Is it unfair? Is it spot on? What's your sort of perspective on it?
Yeah, I mean, I've always said that Bron has like a gravitational pull, right? Like everybody, the media, you know, people that love him, people that hate him, people that love the Lakers, hate the Lakers, all media. I mentioned that already, but like everybody just like focuses on that. So any step in the wrong direction, people are just going to like take that and just keep just grinding away on it. And it's tough. I mean, it's obviously a massive media market. Everybody expects the Lakers to do great things, especially with having a big three with, you know, even with AD being out, they expect big things from him. But, it's tough. Like, I played with Bron and we were under a lot of scrutiny as well in Cleveland, and we had great expectations, and people were saying, finals or championship or bust. So with that, yeah, every little misstep, or you lose 3 in a row, or you're hovering around 500, it's just, a dozen different storylines. It's a soap opera. People always got to have stuff to talk about, 24/7, 365 media presence and different storylines. If not, it's, you're not going to get your ratings. People aren't going to watch the show. I mean, it's just a fact.
No, that's why I asked you. That's literally the reason I asked you. You live that. You live that.
You could tell by the SportsCenter Instagram of how much they put LeBron up, no matter what happens with him, that it's a numbers thing.
No, it's totally a numbers thing. And I mean, listen, like JJ said, he's the greatest player of our generation, and in the GOAT talks, like, and people are going to follow his every move. So his team, if somebody's not performing or somebody is, messing up, the Lakers season, so they say, then, they're going to be the scapegoat. And listen, with AD out, would things likely be going different for us? I think so. I think, if AD comes back and he's healthy and motivated, he takes that team obviously to a different stratosphere. I think Russ plays better. I think Bron continues to play the way that he does, because it opens up, so many different things for him. But yeah, I would be surprised if they figure it out, I would say All-Star break and after All-Star break. I do feel like they will make some noise. How far they will go, I don't know. But, I think, some of the expectation and the scrutiny is I'm not going to say unwarranted, but in some ways unfair, because you got to see how it plays out. We've been in a situation before where, we made the finals and we were, I forget our record, but it just, there were times where it wasn't pretty.
That 2018 team, and you guys made a bunch of changes.
Correct.
That was the year Kyrie left. You got off to a terrible start. You made changes.
Huge expectation.
Yeah.
Huge expectation.
Sure.
With, a bunch of very talented, Hall of Fame guys on the team, guys that in different situations were amazing. But again, it's like, it doesn't, just because you look good on paper doesn't mean it's gonna work in your favor. So, a little tough for me to, understand what's going on there, because I'm not within the group. But, I think you can't throw all, one bunch of guys together in 1 year, or half a season, figure it out. And it's not going to be, were they going to be the first seed? No. Second seed? Probably not. Third, who knows? But like, make the playoffs, matchups, how it breaks down within the teams that make it on your side, you just never know. So
yeah, I think to your point about AD, LeBron has missed, I think 12 games.
Yeah.
I think AD's missed like 17, or I don't know, I think 17, something like that. And then they just have a weirdly kind of constructed roster. But
yes,
I said this a couple weeks ago to somebody, I can't remember who, and I'm like, there is a version in my mind where they figure out how to spread the floor, sort of like the Rockets bubble team, that 2020 team, where they went just super small and put PJ Tucker at the 5 and just gave Russ space to be Russ. And that team turned the corner and had a ton of success. Russ was fantastic the last few months of the season. Like, there's a scenario to me where they do turn this thing around because, look, they have those three guys, and those three guys are great players. Yeah,
it's definitely there. Yeah. That's why I'm saying it's there somewhere. I just think it's been it's been ugly. There's no reason that team with that talent level, and you said it is an oddly constructed team, but there's something in there that could and should work. At what capacity, I don't know, but I do think that they're able to beat any team in the league on any given night. Now, in a 7-game series, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Cheers to 2022 and resolutions you can actually keep. How about having clean and shiny balls all year round? Our sponsors at Manscaped are here to save your balls this year. So join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com and use code JJ for 20% off plus free shipping. Take your package to the next level with their Performance Package 4.0 and brand new Ultra Premium Body Wash.
Yep. Inside the Performance Package 4.0, you'll find the Signature Lawnmower 4.0. This electric trimmer is designed to trim hair on loose skin. The advanced skin-safe technology reduces cuts and nicks on your delicate nuts.
The package also includes the Crop Preserver, trademarked, and Crop Reviver, also trademarked, 2 unique formulations that take care of the smelliest part of your body. The Manscaped Ultra Premium Body Wash and their Shed Travel Bag and Anti-Chafing Boxer Briefs. I've tried the body wash as well, and it smells great, so kick discomfort and poor hygiene to the curb this year and use the best tools for the job. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code JJ at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code JJ. It's New Year, no pubes in 2022 with Manscaped. Unlock the world of sneakers. Soul Savvy makes getting the sneakers you want easier. Cop for retail and avoid resellers. Soul Savvy helps you stay ahead of the curve and gives you access to exclusive info and instant add-to-cart links. Save yourself the headache on drop day with Soul Savvy's release guides, which will give you the best strategies to increase your chances of securing a W and avoid paying resell. You'll gain access to Soul Savvy's industry-leading technology and tools to give you a buying advantage.
Soul Savvy staffs a team of experts to teach you the best practices, like how to use sneaker monitors, catch restocks instantly, increase checkout speeds, and beat the bots on release day. Soul Savvy also gives you access to courses and live training.
That's right, Tommy. Soul Savvy gives you industry-leading sneaker monitors with access to over 100-plus retailers and their inventory, and one-on-one support from Soul Savvy team members to answer any of your sneaker-related questions. Now for the best part. Soul Savvy is giving Old Man and the Three listeners insider pricing to try Soul Savvy for 1 month for just $7. This includes full access to sneaker monitors, drop alerts, the assist tool, exclusive links, training, and their member-only Slack channel. No commitment, no catch, cancel anytime. Sign up at soulsavvy.com/JJ and use code JJ at checkout. That's an entire month of full access for just $7 at soulsavvy.com/JJ with code JJ. Get the sneakers you want and avoid paying resale. Try Soul Savvy out today. Hey guys, JJ here. Want to know how I train to perform at the highest level? Well, now you can. Download the Masters app and subscribe to my program where I'll train you to be stronger, move better, and become more diligent with your routine. I will show you literally exactly what I do and how I do it. You'll train with me every step of the way, every move, every exercise. In my Masters program, I'll give you an exclusive insight into how, over the years, I became better and stronger as a player and in my day-to-day life. It's available for the iPhone or the iPad. Masters gives you the tools to prepare, train, and recover like a pro athlete. The program is accessible anywhere, anytime. And now, for our listeners only, you can get an exclusive 20% discount on your first subscription. To claim your offer, all you need to do is go to mastersapp.com/JJ20. That's mastersapp.com/JJ20, and the discount will be applied at the checkout automatically. Again, go to mastersapp.com/JJ20, claim your exclusive 20% discount offer, and let's get to work. And by the way, I literally recorded 120 different exercises for this video, plus my conditioning drills. I recorded everything I did for the last 15 years you can get the same work in with me. Let's get to work. All right, let's get to the Old Man and 3 draft. Tommy reminded me yesterday that Kevin has
Kevin's
sort of
expert
mopped us
drafter.
in the first 2 times doing this draft with us. So
Did I?
Apparently you won.
we did two movie drafts with you, and you
2 movie drafts.
You
yeah.
wiped the
Yeah.
phone.
I don't know
This
if I
time-
mopped you guys, but
This time we're
I
not
do
doing
think,
movies.
I do think that the call that Tommy had was Citizen Kane was I still have days where I think about that.
That's one of the greatest callbacks to like episode 6. I don't even remember where.
I was really upset.
One of the greatest
You
moments
didn't
on
talk
the
to me
show.
for 2 months after that.
No, that was a no bull. That was I was upset. I mean, I love Citizen Kane. It's a great movie.
All right,
right.
Tommy, draft topic.
Topic: worst thing someone can do on a plane.
Who's up first?
You're first, then we snake it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around. I want to say like belligerently drunk, but like, just I don't like shitty people, and when they're like really awful to a flight attendant, and I've seen it, it just makes me. It makes me so mad. So like, just very, very rude to a flight attendant is not it.
Mistreatment of a flight attendant, I think, is a
Good
general
mistreatment
rule. We can all agree, like, we should just get on an airplane and sort of just respect other people. That's what it comes down
For
to. So
sure.
I like that pick a lot. I
They're
like
like
that pick.
catering to you to make your travel from one destination to another like just easy. They're trying their best to make it stress-free. They're in the service. Like so to treat them like shit, or to treat any, waiter or server, like that makes me so pissed off. That like tells somebody like your true character, I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay, good pick.
So,
All right, Tommy, your pick.
I'm picking when somebody, male or female, is sitting in front of you and they have long hair and they put the hair, right? They don't have a ponytail on and they put the hair over their seat and it ends up around your face in some capacity, whether or not it's touching you or not. You can see the hair in front of you in your own personal space. It's not a common thing. It doesn't happen that often, but it does happen. And it's extremely awkward because you don't want to pull the other person's hair. You don't want to touch someone's hair. That's really rude to do. You don't want to kick their seat and say, move your hair, but you're also literally encroaching on somebody else's personal space. And so basically, long story short, if you have really long hair, if you're a man or a woman, make sure that that hair is in your own personal space and not in someone else's personal space.
I literally did not know that this was a thing. I didn't
It's
know
not
that
a
people
common
did
thing.
that.
I think it's only happened to me maybe once or twice. It's not like it happens, and it's not like it happens all the time. But when it happens, it's really disgusting. It's like your thing with feet. But imagine someone's putting their feet on your lap while you're trying to sit on the plane.
Here's the thing about this entire draft. I feel like a lot of these picks are going to have some form of hygiene related malpractice involved. I think that's what it comes down to.
But that makes sense because you're in a small container with other people, basically, where you can't walk off the plane in the middle of the flight. If you're on a bus or something like that, you can get off if someone is being weird sitting next to you. You can't do that on the plane. So you're kind of signing up for some level of common courtesy about, how you
I just
the people next
personally,
to you.
if I had long hair, personally, I don't want my hair, the back of my head, to touch the back of a seat. Anyways, like it's
and I also definitely don't want it to be swinging around that long where you don't know you don't know where it is. Like that feels like you would get it stuck in some sort of seat, and it would be really embarrassing for you. Like I think it's not a thing. I think most people get it, but there's definitely Reddit threads and stuff like that of people doing this. And I think it leads to the always uncomfortable situation of like, you don't really want to talk to other people on the plane. You don't want to chide them for their habits, but this is unavoidable. This is like move your hair.
Agree. Okay. Most annoying things people do. I mean, the obvious one to me, because I tweeted about this the other day, but I have a real problem with people taking their shoes off on a plane.
oh yeah,
And yes, I understand there's a difference between, look, somebody could take their shoes off and have socks on. Somebody could take their shoes off and be barefoot. And they could do both of those scenarios with flip-flops on. But flip-flops are a form of shoes. There's just a level of disrespect to me by taking your shoes off on an airplane. It's not your fucking living room. Now, the exception to this, of course, if you happen to be on an overseas overnight flight where everybody's sort of trying to get comfortable and sleep, that's just wear clean socks, thick clean socks. Of course,
the socks matters a lot. I feel like.
But there's the feet. I just think it's gross. I just think it's gross, and we're not in your fucking living room. All right. Second one is basically anyone who talks to me on an airplane. Just don't talk to me. I'm not on an airplane. I'm not traveling to make friends. Generally, I'm traveling with a friend or a wife. And if I'm traveling solo, a lot of times I want to read a book. I want to read my magazine. Yep. Don't be a distraction to that. I don't want to make a friend on an airplane. How about talk to you
with your headphones on too?
Yeah, it's the worst.
You're like, wait, what?
It's the worst.
Wait, what?
You guys also probably have it way worse because people recognize you all the time, which makes it's bad enough to do this for anybody, but when you get spotted.
I will actually.
I'm not like Kevin. I fly commercial flights. I fly commercial flights. Okay.
I will piggyback off of that
stop Kevin.
Yeah. Right. Jesus Christ, guys.
All right. What am I? Second pick? Bringing stinky food on to eat.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Especially fish, but any kind of food. Any food that has any sort of odor.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I always wondered, like, some people have like crazy peanut allergies or different allergies, things like that. Like if say I have that allergy and Kevin brings food on and sits next to me and I like get some of it on, like do you think they would say like you can't bring certain types of food on a plane or something like that?
Like peanut allergy type of thing?
Well, yeah. I always had this thought the other day because my son was eating, I think, a granola bar that had peanuts in it when we were flying down to North Carolina for the Duke game. And it was like an hour into the flight, but I remember being on a lot of commercial flights because I fly commercial. And generally speaking, if there's a peanut allergy, the person will go to the flight attendant and announce that, and then the flight attendant will get on the intercom and say, "Hey, there's someone on the plane has a peanut allergy. Please just be mindful of that."
Kevin, you got 2 picks.
I have 2 picks.
Yeah. I just thought about the fact: what if Kevin started this whole draft off with like,
it was all,
I only fly commercial, so I don't have any picks.
Yeah, I mean, God, I hate it when there's not
when they get my order wrong from Carbone.
Where they don't have the catering right from Carbone on my private flight. What about, have you ever sat next to like a bathroom frequenter?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's the worst. I'm not saying like, okay, hour, like every 30 minutes, like, excuse me, do you mind if I get up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That aisle seat, if you have to use the bathroom, if you're just one of those people, just try your best not to book.
Try your best.
An aisle seat. A window seat, sorry. Window or middle seat. Try your best to book an aisle seat.
Just try your best. Like very, very frequent to the bathroom. I've done that where it was probably a trip from LA to New York where I must have gotten up. 6 to 8 times, I'd say. Like every 45 minutes, every 40 minutes, somebody got up. And so that's, and I mean, this isn't like, I mean, JJ, I'm either going to say like now because it's going to be like no mask type of thing. Like somebody's just like, I'm just not going to wear it right now until the flight attendant tells me to. Or I've had this happen before where like people will just take their phone out and just take a picture of you or start recording.
Like to pick one. Those are both good picks. Take one of those though. Those are 2 different picks.
I'm saying though, like
he's saying like people will do that now because somebody's not wearing a mask, but people just do that to him in general. Like
okay. The phone.
That's what I'm saying. So like it's not really gonna, you know.
Yeah, that's really annoying.
It doesn't like transcend like everybody.
Yeah. Right. No, that makes sense.
But I guess I could say like, I mean, JJ, you pretty much mentioned it, but like cleanliness in general, right? Like taking care of your space.
Yeah.
I mean, with the feet, that's kind of a similar thing, but you know, we're all in this compact compartment together, whether we're on.
It's a community. It's a community.
It is. It's like you establish this community for anywhere from 30 minutes to however many hours if you're flying abroad, right? But say we're going across the country, say it's 6 hours, so 30 minutes to 6 hours. You have to keep your community clean. Okay, people? like cleanliness is it's not only self-respect, but you're respecting those around you as well.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
that would probably be my third pick.
Okay.
My third pick is similar to yours a little bit, Kevin. It's anyone who asks to switch, anyone who's in a middle seat and asks to switch to a non-middle seat for any reason, no matter what it is, is not acceptable. You could have planned that out ahead of time. Yeah, it happens all the time. And they're like, my grandmother, my this, like, it doesn't matter. You could have planned that out. And you're basically inconveniencing another person and counting on them to be nice and magnanimous, basically, and give up a better thing to give you a worse thing for no reason.
I have a question on this for clarification purposes, because my wife and I, this ends up happening a lot to us where we make last second plans and we can't book seats next to each other. So we'll ask somebody, but I would never ask someone to give up a worse seat. You know,
it has to be equal. Equal seats are fine.
So I'm trading apples for apples. Yes. I'm booking a middle seat for me and an aisle seat for her, or I'm booking a middle seat and or a window seat and aisle seat for each of us, so that I can trade for one and we can sit next to each other.
Yeah, you just have better feel, JJ.
I like that. That's fine.
Better.
That's fine.
I think trading is fine. Aisle for aisle,
100%
window for
fine.
window is fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Right.
Okay, I got two.
Yep.
All right. This is a big one for me, and this happened the other day when I was flying back from Wyoming. There's a responsibility. I'm being serious. There's a real responsibility if you're sitting in a window seat to have proper shade control.
Yes.
And it's not hard. It's not hard. Look, if it's sunny out, on takeoff, put your shade down. If you're on an overnight flight and it's the morning, keep your shade down.
Common sense.
It's really just common sense.
Common sense.
Yeah,
I don't care if you want to look out the window, but you're affecting everyone else on the plane. So you have a responsibility. So poor shade control. That's my third pick.
Honestly, and clouds aren't that exciting.
No.
Like, can we all agree with that?
Yes.
Yes.
We're taking photos of anything on the ground if it's not like the Grand Canyon.
Yes.
You're
I'm full agreement.
Look, I know it's
shade control. That is such a good pick.
I'm going to kind of combine two into one here. Okay. And I have young kids. I have a 7-year-old and 5-year-old, and we've flown with them since they were toddlers, since they were babies. And so you don't have a lot of control over your children, but there's a couple scenarios. So I'm just going to say parental control is like the most annoying thing, or lack of parental control. And so there's a couple things, or three really, that kind of irk me. Number one is when your child is kicking the back of my seat. I don't care that your child is 5 years old. I literally don't. I just don't want the back of my seat to be kicked. Okay, so that's one thing. Then this is a phenomenon that I found out. We were traveling somewhere recently, and we happened to be in the 39th row. The four of us were just straight across in the 39th row, last row of the plane. And we were headed down to Florida right before Christmas to visit my in-laws. And there was probably 60 children on that flight, and 30 of them cried at some point in time during that flight. And everybody would bring their babies to the back of the plane. Like, I get that you don't want to upset the people you're sitting next to, but you're just upsetting a different group of people with the crying babies.
Tough.
And look, anybody who's had kids, my kids have cried on a plane. Don't move your baby. That's my point. You can't control whether or not your baby's crying, but don't bring it somewhere else. Don't bring it somewhere else. The person next to you understands that you can't control whether or not your baby's crying. Don't move the baby.
There's got to be zoning laws for that.
Yeah.
Dude, I was looking at all this stuff on the internet about annoying things people do on airplanes, and there was all these blogs about, like, can we please have a baby-free zone on an airplane?
Seriously,
the quiet section?
It's the updated 2022 version of the no smoking zone.
The soundproof quiet zone?
Yeah. We just have peace and quiet zone, please. That's a great pick. JJ is crushing this.
JJ's crushing us. All right, my fourth pick is anyone who moves your bag in the overhead for any reason. Bag, coat, whatever it is. It's like if you don't get the space in the overhead, that's fine. And I understand that people sometimes take advantage of the overhead space and they will, shove their coat and bag in and then close it and things like that. But there's just no reason to move someone else's thing.
Any sort of overhead bin abuse.
Yes.
Overhead bin abuse, yeah.
All right, Kevin, you got two. Close it out.
I have two?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Like, I'm out. I should have looked it up.
When they don't have, when they don't have Dasani water on the.
Oh, dude, no. By the way, I wouldn't give Dasani water to my dog. That's how much I hate Dasani. I like Coke. Don't drink it, but I like it. I would say I'm gonna go with Larry David here and say this is kind of to JJ's point as well. Factors into the cleanliness thing, but like shorts on a plane. Does that bother anybody?
It depends. It depends where you're going.
That's interesting. You don't want to see any skin. No lower leg extremity skin, basically.
Listen,
it is kind of grimy.
And I'm not like leg hair fat shaming anybody, but like if your open leg is gonna touch me on a plane,
that's good.
You're right about this.
Yeah,
I don't care. You're right. You're right about this.
I had to go in my bag for this one because I don't have anything else. But I think I had to go with the that was a Larry David. That was a Curb episode, so I'm going there with it. One more. Like looking around here, what do guys do on a plane? Don't sit next to Taco Fall when he falls asleep.
I mean, that's a good one.
Yeah, that was a real thing. He's the best. He's so funny though. But like,
I think that's a funny pick. By the way,
7'5", just like.
Dude, I think that should be your pick.
Yeah,
I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, the Taco Fall falling asleep on you is very unnerving.
All right,
happened multiple times.
You might win for that pick, by the way. I hope you know.
Yeah.
That. After all that,
that's my sleeper pick. I'm glad I said that.
You might win for that.
There's a lot of people, Tommy, that can relate to that pick. I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Maybe like 20.
There's 9 people in the world.
Yeah,
I love that.
Just say, what really bothers me is just not flying private.
All right. I have 5th pick. You guys are gonna get mad at this, or maybe you won't. I think it's really fucked up when people watch movies like Flight or Sully or any sort of movie.
Dude.
Why would you are on one today.
It's just a big plane foul. Like you just can't do that.
You can't.
Yeah, and by the way, sometimes they have those planes in the inside in the in-home entertainment because they're good movies. You just can't watch them on a plane. So that's it. That's my 5th pick.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
All right. This one also has to do with talking, but we've all talked on our cell phone. We've been on the phone. We're getting ready to taxi. Somebody calls us. Maybe we're mid-call when we start boarding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, there's a responsibility. You're part of a community. I don't need to know what your company's May spreadsheet looks like. I don't fucking care. You can use volume control when you're on your cell phone. So lack of volume control when you're talking on your cell phone. That's my last pick annoyance.
Wait 5 minutes and when you get off the plane. It's like, hey, can I call you in 5 minutes? I'm the same way. I just had this conversation about like us, like players being on the bus. And it's like, okay, it doesn't matter. Like language barrier, don't care. Or like, again, it's all the same thing. I'm like, we're in this tight space. Can you just wait 20 minutes? Like, this is something that like you have to FaceTime your niece the entire time we're on. Like, I love that you're doing it. I think it's great you're keeping in touch with your family, but like, come on now.
Wait, I just love it. I love that Kevin gave us this whole thing for the first 40 minutes of this of like, oh, I'm this nice, warm, cuddly veteran who's
there's anything. It's the bus.
Until you FaceTime your niece.
You either put on your headphones, you talk to a team, you chill, you can take a nap, but like, listen, you don't need to be yelling out, I don't even know anything.
You're right. You're right.
The May company spreadsheets was like that was a bar right there. That was a bar.
That was a bar.
JJ's lingo on this definitely beat the two of us.
Oh man. All right, guys. This was a lot of fun, Kevin. As always, keep hooping, man. We'll get you that. We're gonna hype you for that 6-man award. We'll see you soon.
Appreciate it, fellas.
All right, man.
Peace.
Later.